Hi guys, it's Jen here and welcome to Jen's Wild About Art. So today I'm doing a picture of 3 bongo antelope. So something a little bit different. I love doing my antelope and my deer, as you know, so this was a fun one. And I just love the colour of these guys, and I like the positions. I used a few different reference photos and I sort of mashed them all together and made this one piece. But I just love the colours of these bongos. So I'm doing 2 female bongos and a baby bongo. So I just start with drawing in the outline and getting all their proportions correct. And I do them in pencil first, and then I go over them in micron pen. So now I'm going to go over the 2 adults and the baby with the micron pen, and I'll just complete their outlines and add a bit of grass texture, and then I'll go over it in watercolour. So now I start to go in with watercolour, and I add transparent sienna around all 3 of the bongos. Then I go into the sky with a couple of different shades of green. I go in with an earth green first, and then I add an olivey green mixed with an earth green, and I add some bush sort of effects in behind them. And then I go over an olive green and add a bit of idanthone blue just to the grass, just to add some shadows to underneath all 3 of the antelope or bongos. And to create depth, I add 3 sort of different values of green, so lightest to the back and darkest to the front, and that brings the front bushes forward and pushes the lighter ones back to the background. And then I start to add, as I said before, the shadows underneath all 3 of the bongo antelope. Now I start to add a few different browns, so I go in with a bit of burnt sienna and a little bit of burnt umber, and I start to add that into the darker areas on all 3 of the animals. I also make up a grey with burnt umber and cobalt blue just to get the base in on the black areas of all of the antelope. I will go over that in a few layers of Payne's grey, which I'll mix with a little bit of brown just to soften it so it's not so grey, or just to warm it up actually. And now I'm going back in with some more burnt umber and transparent sienna mix and building up the layers on all 3 of the animals again. And I'll do this in 4 or 5 different layers just to get depth into their fur, because they've got amazing coats, these animals. I was just so impressed by their colour. That's what inspired me to paint these guys, was their colour was so intense and beautiful. And now I'm adding in they've got like dorsal fur. They've got a really spiky lot of fur that stands up just along the tops of all their backs, which I found really fascinating. It doesn't go up their necks, it's just on their backs. So yeah, I had a lot of fun trying to add their dorsal fur in. And now I'm darkening up their muzzles and going over all of their darkest areas with Payne's grey mixed with burnt umber. And then back into the antelope with another layer of transparent sienna and also burnt umber. Now I start to colour in their horns with a few different tones of grey. Again, a mixture of Payne's grey mixed with just a very teeny tiny little bit of transparent sienna just to soften the grey and warm it up a little bit. Now I go back through all of the animals and add their darkest darks just for the absolute contrast and finishing touches. Now I go back in and I go over where I'd penned in the grass with my micron pen, and I go over it with a dark olive mixed with a bit of blue, and then I also add a little bit more earth green to the, like, just to go into the distance behind them, just to soften into the distance and give them some depth to the grass, some sort of perspective to the grass. So I add a little bit to the front, and then I take a lighter green towards the shrubs at the back of them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I had an absolute ball painting these, or drawing and painting these bongos. So I have the full-length video uploaded to my Twitch channel, which is also Jen's Wild About Art on Twitch. I'll have the links below if you'd like to see the full hour-and-a-half version of this. Yeah, I'd love it if you click like and subscribe and click on the bell icon. That way you'll get notified of when I release videos. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you next video. Okie doke. Bye.